Physical games have value. I've been thinking about this video. I wrote me down some notes and stuff to talk about and all that stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it and find it informative and entertainment. I'm Michael. If you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button, like button, also share with friends if you don't mind. Also, please comment, ask me a question, or comment in general. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, if you don't mind, hit the notification bell down below, and you will be notified to go live or upload another video. If you want to become a fan of me, Aqualand, then subscribe to the channel, and you will become a fan. I hope so. Yeah, physical games have value. Definitely over digital games, for sure. It's just a overview of some of my physical games that I have in my collection, just in case for the ones who are just now finding this video and all that stuff. Try not to show off everything, because eventually I will have a video game room tour at some point. I'm not ready for it yet. But yes, physical games have value. And they may not always be complete on disc / cart, especially when it comes to modern day physical games, sadly. But there's always good chances that most of the games will be on cart when it comes to the Nintendo Switch versions, and there's ways that you can play the games directly off the cart and not have to worry about downloading patches and stuff like that. It all depends on the games, and there's ways that you can also do it with physical disc versions as well. Like if you saw my collection video that I did of my video games, my collector's editions. It's going to be hard for me to prove it, but there's a lot of people out there on YouTube that have done videos to prove that you can install Baldur's Gate 3 directly off of the disc from the Baldur's Gate 3 Deluxe editions when it comes to those physical versions. So there's a way that you can play modern gaming off of the disc and not have to do it online. There's ways that you can do it. So that's another point right there, that physical games have value. And there was a time period not too long ago where PlayStation Network was down, offline for a whole 24 hours. People couldn't play their digital games, they couldn't get online to play with their friends, they couldn't do anything like that. But then there was people in the comments on channels and stuff that were going on to those people's channels that were talking about that situation. Well, in the comments they were saying, well, I didn't have a problem. And they said because I was playing my physical games on my consoles. So I didn't have to worry about that. It didn't bother me at all. That's another reason why physical games have value. And no, I'm not hating on digital games. I got some games downloaded. But when it comes to situations like that, it's not too good. But you can also argue the fact, well, you can just emulate the games. Yeah, you can. I don't approve of that. If you want to do that, then that's up to you, not me. Plus, there's tons of collectors out there, just like me, that can take their physical games and sell them on eBay. Like, to give you an example, you can go on eBay and you can find some cheap games. It just depends on the titles. So yeah, physical games have value. They really do. So yeah, you can sell your games on eBay, trade them into GameStop. I know sometimes that could be a joke, but there are certain titles at GameStop, when you trade them in, you can get some good amount of trading credit. You really can. But the point is, you cannot do that with digital. You can't just... I saw somebody made a skit one time. They were trading in their Nintendo Switch at a fake GameStop. They were doing their special effects in their video, and they were doing a skit like they were at GameStop, and they were trading in their Switch and their physical games, and they got a lot of money back. Well, this other guy traded in his Switch, and it said, wait a minute, I got games on there. And then the employee in the skit was like, they're digital, so we can't give you credit for those digital games. They just gave them credit for the console. But like I said, it was just a skit. But the fact is, that is true though. If you traded in your Nintendo Switch or your 3DS or any of that stuff, and you had digital games on those devices when you traded them in, they're not going to credit you for those digital games. If you take in physical games along with that console, you'll get credit for the console and those physical games. But with the digital games, you can't do that. Sorry. It's a proven fact. I mean, I know a lot of people love digital games because you don't have to worry about having spaces to put your games, and it's a clean way to collect, and it's a modern way to do it nowadays. And that is killing physical games. It really is. And a lot of people are not realizing that, or not even thinking about it, and straight up just don't care. That's just the honest truth of what I've seen on YouTube and seen people's comments and stuff. It's really sad. That is killing physical games. It really is. But physical games have value for a lot of reasons. Because you can go to yard sales, thrift stores, and get games, physical games, for as cheap as $2, $1, sometimes even cheaper, to $5, $10. People will sell them as bundles, and you can get a bunch of games for $20 or less. Depends on the sellers at the flea markets and stuff, the thrift stores. And the point is, you can get a bunch of games physically for a cheap, decent price. And it's also a situation like, well, maybe a gamer grew up with a PS3 or a PS4 or an Xbox 360, and he never upgraded to the latest generation. And that way he can go to all to those thrift stores and the flea markets and the yard sales and GameStop and shop online and get his physical games for a cheap price, and he got himself a collection. And what the thing is about the 360 is, unless you mod it, which I don't do stuff like that, but hey, I completely understand it. But if you don't mod your console, then you can just play your physical games on that console, and you can continue to do so. Because the 360 is offline, you can no longer download games on it anymore. Luckily, so far, the PS3 is still online, so you can still download games on there, which is pretty sweet. But the fact is, that's for like people that never upgraded to the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. And maybe that's the way they are, and they just haven't decided to upgrade to the latest consoles and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just a lot of value in physical games in a lot of ways. It really, really is. And it's killing physical games. It really is. It's taking them out. And it's really, really sad. But yeah, physical games have value. They really do, in a lot of ways. And I really wish that people would support physical games more, like they did back in the day. That's pretty much all we had on the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, PlayStation 1, PS2, and all that stuff. The only way that you can play those games is to buy them physically and put them into your consoles and play them. Hook them up to your TV, and that was amazing. Amazing experience right there. Go to the store, talk with your friends while you're at the store, picking up the game, opening it up, flipping through the manual, and experiencing gaming that way. So yes, physical games have value in a lot of ways, and I wish a lot more people would really realize that. Because if physical games go away, and then gamers are not going to have options. Don't you like having options? To be able to choose that you want to download a game or double dip and pick up the physical copy? How about if one of those options went away? That you could only download only. Or with certain situations, like certain games only receive physical copies and there's no digital versions of those games. Those games actually do exist. If you want to get that digital copy, you can't. You have to get that game physically. So it's nice to have options. But if one of those options gets taken away, that's not good. So yeah, physical games have value. They really do. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know down in the comments. Put some comments in there. I'll answer them the best I can and all that stuff. And do you agree with me? And what are y'all's thoughts about this down below? I would love to know. Thank you so much. Alright. Hope you enjoyed it. Alright.